And we close this week with another item from Warren, and it's his highlights from Talkback.
We continue now with our theme of highlights from Talkback. This is installment 23. In our last installment, which was installment 22, we concluded the heading of the one finger back and forth movement. Today, in installment 23, we'll be starting the series on the one finger angular gestures. For this demonstration, I'm using my Pixel 6 Pro with 512 gigs, running Android 12 and Talkback 12.1. For speech services, I'm using the defunct Eloquence TTS from Code Factory. I will now tap once with 3 fingers to activate the Talkback menu.
Talkback menu. Actions and list.
Tapping with 3 fingers activates the Talkback menu. The next item I would like to tap on is the Talkback settings found just above the TTS settings, which is the second to the last item. I will now put my finger down and tap on Talkback settings.
Talkback settings. Talkback settings. Navigate up button out of list.
I am now in the Talkback settings. I will now, using 2 fingers, glide up, scrolling the page down, find and tap on Customize Gestures.
Customize gestures.
Here is my Customize Gestures. I will tap here.
Customize gestures. Navigate up button out of list.
I am now on the gesture customization page, and what I'm looking for here is a heading that talks about one finger angular gestures. I will now utilize my heading granularity by scrubbing up and down till I hear it says heading.
Links. Controls. Headings.
There is my heading. And now with 1 finger, I'll swipe down till it says one finger angular gestures or something to that effect.
1 finger heading. 1 finger back and forth heading. 1 finger angle heading. Showing items 9 to 19 of 54.
One finger angle, and that's the one we're talking about today. Our first item in this heading will be the following.
Swipe up then left, home. Showing items 9 to 19 of 54.
Swipe up, then left, home. What this means is that when I draw a line upwards or swipe upward with 1 finger and then curving to the left, takes me back home. In other words, if you have difficulty using the 2 finger for the native gestures to swipe from the bottom and go home, then you could utilize the screen reader built-in gesture, and that will be the swiping from the bottom of the phone toward the top and curving to the left to go home. I personally prefer using the native OS gestures so that if I wanted to, I could reassign this gesture for something else. As long as the native gestures are available to me as a user, I would rather use the OS native gestures as to using a screen reader-based gestures. However, I understand that we have choices and preferences, and this may be easier for someone than using the native gestures. Also, it should be understood that one could choose to reassign this to something else. For example, if any of these gestures are hard for you and you want to reassign this to a tap or triple tap or whatever, you could choose to reassign that to make it be your navigator home gesture. I will now swipe and curve to the left to go home so that you see what I'm talking about.
Pixel launcher. Home out of list.
I just swiped from the bottom toward the top and curved to the left, and that took me home. Again, you could change this to something else that you prefer. And that concludes the swipe from the bottom toward the top and curving to the left to go home.